Hi everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of the Bedford QL Refueler build. So in the first part we all got it built up. In this one we are going to carry on with the spraying of it. So as you can see, I've given this a coat of Tamiya fine surface primer, the white one. Okay, that's just to be a nice base for the yellow. For the yellow I'm going to be using Attacker's lemon yellow for the top part. Okay. And that's just thinned with a couple of drops of rapid thinner. Okay, so the airbrush is loaded up. As you can see, I've done a bit of a test. So we will be get on and give this a quick coat of yellow. Alright, well, nice thin coats, just to build it up. And having that nice white primer obviously helps with the coverage for the yellow. Keeps it nice and bright. Alright, that'll do for the first coat. We'll get a cab coat on its roof. Okay. So we get into all the nooks and crannies, make sure it's got nice coverage underneath. Okay. Back to the roof. There we go. Some nice coverage. And there we go, that should be enough for the actual base coat. So again, this is obviously personal preference of how far you want to go with your weathering, your bleaching, and anything else you want to do with it. What I am going to do is I'm going to lighten what's left of this with a bit of white, bleach it out a bit. Probably going to really stark on camera and in real life, but then what I'm going to do is use the original colour is then to blend it all back in, so it's not as in your face. So what I'm going to do is I'll keep with the tacker. I'm going to use traffic white, a couple of drops of this just to lighten up the yellow. Give it a good shake, wake it up. Alright, so a few drops and then we'll give it a mix, see how there you go. It's really lightened it up quite a bit. So what we'll do is again back with rapid thinner, just a little squirt of that just to thin it. Okay, give that a good mix in. So what we'll do is we'll concentrate more on the high spots. Okay, so it's going to be a bit like the colour modulation, and then we'll do a bit of bleaching around the sides, and again in the middle of the roof on the cab. Just unload the airbrush, get the remnants of the base coat out. I'm not going to need a lot of this, so a bit of a test. Sure it's flowing okay. It's absolutely fine. So we'll start off with the cab roof. And again we'll just do like the black basing technique as they call it, where you're just dotting it in. Okay, low pressure, quite close in, and then just building the layers up to your own personal preference. Just making random squiggles and dots and marks. You know, if you want to pick out the edges as well. One of them techniques you can go, you know, as light as you want, or more subtle. It's again, it's all personal preference with these things. Again, I think what we'll do is I'll lighten it again, push the contrast some more. And then we'll come back and we'll have a look. Okay. Another blob of white in there just to lighten it up again, so that's really lightened that up. So now we'll definitely see some changes. I'm just going to thin it a little bit. I want it quite thin. A squirt of the rapid thinner. There you go. We've got, you know, quite a pastel yellow now. So there's definitely, what I'll do is pick out all the high spots again. So this will be a okay. Then we'll do a bit in the middle of the roof. Okay. Alright, so we've got a bit of contrast. Like I've said, go as far as you want really, because you can always bring it back with the original colour if you're not happy with it, and basically just have fun and practice. So I'll let that flash off, and then we'll come back, we'll mask it up and we'll paint the blue. So we've masked up the yellow, ready to lay down some blue. For this again, we're going to go back to the Attacker paints and we're going to use the REF blue grey colour, which is C145. Okay, again I've knocked some up in a little pot and put it in the airbrush. So we're going to put the base coat on and do pretty much the same as what we did with the yellow. So just so you know, again, it's just thinned with the rapid thinner. So again. Bit of a gripper coat. Nothing too fancy, just get a nice good solid coat of blue on it. Okay. Shall we get underneath and all the back wheel arches? Onto the cab again. Rest over the cab. All we're looking for at the minute is just coverage, just to get a nice solid coat of blue on. Yeah, underneath, again all the wheel arches. Nothing fancy here, just get some paint on it, lay some paint down. Right, so we'll let that dry off again. Being rapid thinners, it's not going to take long, so we'll go back to the tanker. This time will be a bit more nice even coats, lay it on a bit more heavy. Okay. Sure we go up to where we've masked it off, so we've got a nice even coat up there. Underneath okay, reload. There we go. Finish the cab off. go. Okay. So we'll let that flash off again. And then we'll go into the bleaching bit, just lighten some of the panels up, just for a bit of contrast. Again, just using white. Just as what we used in the yellow, use a bit of traffic white just to lighten it up. Okay. Got more thinners. Really lighten that up. I think we'll just bring it back a touch with a bit more blue. Okay. Alright, so we'll start with the cab. Again, we'll hit the high points where the natural light would hit it. Top of the wheel arches. And again, you could, you know, just go pick out the edges. Alright, we'll do the back door as well. Centre of panels. Streaks. Again, just have fun. Okay, again, you can go as wild as you want with this. If you really want to bleach it out, make it look like it's been sat for 50 years, then you know, you can do. Sun bleached, abandoned, whatever. So what I've just done there is really lighten it up with some more white into it to make that bleach mottled patchy effect on the paintwork. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with the original colour, really quite a thin coat, and just use it as kind of a filter just to blend it all together so it's not so stark and in your face. But again, being that it's only the sort of 1/72 scale, you want it just to have some contrast. So again, if this was an abandoned vehicle, you could leave it and then weather it as is, or even go a bit more, because obviously blue does fade to sort of a whitey grey horrible colour. So it's totally up to you with this, but I'm going to just bring it back a touch just to blend it all together so it's not so, like I say, not so stark. And then we'll give it a coat of satin varnish, get the decals on it, and then we're ready for weathering. So we'll just blend this together, just some really fine light coats over the top of what we've just done with the mottling, so it just doesn't cover it. Think of it sort of a pre-shading method. Okay. Get rid of the cab. Okay. So I think what we'll do, we'll call that a day for painting the blue. We'll let that flash off, like I say, we'll unmask it, check there's no bleed through from the blue to the yellow, and then we'll give it a satin coat ready for the decals. We've now got all the base colours down, so next job is to give it a quick coat of satin varnish just to seal that all down before the weathering, then get the decals on, what little decals there are, and then crack on with the weathering. So